This is Die, Die, My Darling, developed by Jack Vines on January 28th, 2017. The recommended amount of players is 2. The playtime is approximately 20 to 30 minutes. It's appropriate for all ages, and there is 0 language dependence. The required materials to play the game are 2 20-sided dice and a paper and pencil to keep score. To start off, each player is given their own 20-sided die. One player will be chosen to start off the game. This player will roll their die on a flat surface. The die will be left where it lands, and each player will take a note of which number it has landed on. For instance, let's say player 1 is the first person to roll. Player 1 rolls a 5. The second player will now roll their die. The objective of this player is to collide their die with the first player's die and knock it onto a lower number. There are a few different scenarios that can take place during gameplay. For instance, let's say player 2 is successful in knocking player 1's die onto a lower number. Let's say his die is knocked onto the number 3. Let's say player 2's die reads the number 4. In this scenario, player 2 will be awarded 4 points because that is what his die reads. Player 1 will be rewarded 0 points as his die was knocked over. In another possible scenario, say player 2 rolls, misses player 1's die, not affecting its outcome, and player 2's die lands on a 12. In this scenario, player 1 will be awarded 5 points as his die was not touched by player 2, and player 2 will be rewarded 0 points. This same outcome could be achieved if player 2 was successful in hitting player 1's die, but knocked it from a 5 to, let's say, an 8. In this scenario, player 1 will be rewarded 8 points, and player 2 would be rewarded 0 points. Finally, let's say that player 2 rolls their die, collides with player 1's die, knocking it from a 5 to a 13. However, player 2's die also coincidentally lands on a 13 as well. In this scenario, the game will enter a sudden death round. In the sudden death round, both players will roll their dice simultaneously, and whoever's die reads the largest number will be awarded points based on the difference between the numbers on both players' die. For instance, let's say that player 1's die reads 6, and player 2's die reads 15. In this situation, player 2 would be the winner of sudden death and would be rewarded 9 points. In each round, the player who rolls their die first will switch. The game will continue until one player has reached at least 300 points. If at the end of the game the 2 player scores are within 10 points of each other, the 2 will enter a winner-takes-all round. In this round, each player will roll their die simultaneously 3 times. Let's say that player 1 rolls a 2, a 12, and a 4, and player 2 rolls a 10, a 5, and a 1. Player 1's total is 18, and player 2's is 60. Whichever player rolls the lowest combined number will be the winner of this round, making player 2 the winner of the entire game.